Good morning. Welcome to Top of the Morning by Mint, your daily shot of sharp business intel, global trends, and market movers. It's Monday, July 28th. I'm Nelson John. India's IT crown jewel, TCS, tightens its belt, laying off over 12,000 employees even as it eyes an AI-first future. Across the Atlantic, Donald Trump's tariff clock is ticking, and the EU is racing against an August 1st deadline to dodge a $1.9 trillion disaster. Back home, the Indian Army unveils its battlefield makeover. Rudra brigades and Bhairav Commandos, built to shock and strike. In tech turf wars, Coforge leaps over Mphasis to become the country's number 7 IT outsourcer. But can it crash the top 6 party? And across the UK, the fight over Palestinian statehood reaches Parliament as SNP throws down a legislative gauntlet, forcing PM Starmer to choose stall or stand up. This isn't just your Monday morning update. It's a front row seat to the shifting sands of power, policy and progress. We're not cutting jobs, we are realigning the future. That's the line many tech giants are leaning on. And now, so is India's largest IT company. Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, is set to let go of 12,261 employees. That's 2% of its global workforce in the financial year 2026. The move, which largely affects mid to senior management, is part of TCS's strategy to become what it calls a future-ready organization. Translation? Leaner, faster, AI-focused. A TCS spokesperson said the layoffs are aligned with plans to deploy AI at scale, deepen global partnerships, and enter new markets. The company insists that the affected employees will be supported with benefits, counseling, and outplacement services. Interestingly, this comes just 2 weeks after CFO Samir Seksaria said their priority is wage hikes, though timelines remain vague. TCS ended the June quarter with 6.13 lakh employees, having hired 5,000 in that very quarter. But this attrition rate nudged up to 13.8, raising concerns about talent retention. Now, with shifting policies like a 225-day billing mandate and tighter bench rules, the writing is on the wall. TCS is tightening the screws. CEO K. Keerthivasan admits macro uncertainties are weighing on demand and double-digit growth may not happen this year. Meanwhile, TCS joins global peers in the layoff wave. Microsoft has cut 15,000 jobs in 2025 alone as AI continues to redraw the tech industry's playbook. Welcome to the new normal. AI in, ambiguity out. 3 or 4 sticking points, but a good chance to seal the deal. That's how US President Donald Trump summed up his high-stakes trade talk with the European Union, just days before a crucial August 1st deadline that could slam EU exports with sweeping tariffs. Meeting European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen at his Turnberry Golf Resort in Scotland, Trump voiced optimism but stayed firm on what he called on the core issue, fairness, especially around cars and agriculture. Von der Leyen, on her part, called the odds 50-50 and acknowledged Trump as a tough negotiator. Still, she said if they do strike a deal, it could be the biggest either of us has done. The urgency is real. Washington has threatened a 30% blanket tariff on EU exports, and that's on top of the existing 25% on cars, 50% on steel and aluminum, and another 10% on various goods. The stakes? Enormous. The US-EU trade relationship is worth nearly $1.9 trillion a year. This last-ditch face-to-face is seen as a make-or-break moment to avoid a transatlantic trade war, one that could rock already fragile global markets. Both sides want a breakthrough, but with time running out and fairness up for debate, it's anyone's guess whether this meeting ends in a handshake or hardball. Always ready to shock the enemy. That's how the Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi described India's newest military power packs. In a major battlefield shakeup, the Indian Army is raising 2 cutting-edge formations: Rudra, all-arms brigades, and the Bhairav, light commando battalions. A move aimed at bolstering strike power along both the China and Pakistan borders. Announced on Kargil Vijay Divas in Dras, this reorganization is not just symbolic, it's strategic. The Rudra brigades combine muscle and brains, Think infantry, mechanized infantry, tanks, artillery, special forces, and unmanned aerial systems, all stitched into one cohesive combat unit with integrated logistics and firepower. 2 such brigades have already been formed by converting existing infantry units. Then there's the head of Commando Battalion, a lethal special forces unit described as always ready to surprise the enemy. Light, fast, and brutal, these commandos are designed for swift, high-impact border strikes. This will multiply our operational capabilities manifold, said General Dwivedi, emphasizing that these changes involve no new troop additions, just smarter reallocation of resources. The larger plan here is to transform over 250 single-arm brigades into flexible, tech-enabled, multi-domain units to meet the needs of future warfare. From drones to tanks, boots on the ground to battlefield AI, India's next-gen army is here, and it's called Rudra and Bhairav. In a market where big usually beats the nimble, Coforge is rewriting the script. The Noida-based IT player, once known as NIIT Technologies, has leapfrogged Mphasis to become India's 7th largest IT services firm by revenue. In the June 2025 quarter, Coforge posted $442 million, growing nearly 10% sequentially, while Mphasis lagged with $437 million, hurt by client exits like FedEx. Now, what's powering Coforge's ascent? A $1.56 billion software deal with Texas-based Sabre in March, and a major stake in Signite Technologies, a Hyderabad-based digital engineering firm. Together, they've helped Coforge surge ahead in a highly competitive mid-cap IT race, where the revenue gap between the 7th and the 12th is razor-thin, just about $600 million, reports Min's Jas Bhatia. Analysts at Kotak now expect Coforge to break into the $2 billion club by June 2026, putting it within striking distance of the top 6, which includes Tech Mahindra and LTI Mindtree. But it's not all rosy. Operating margins remain flat at 13.1%, and free cash flow is in the red, with $21.5 million burned last quarter. Still, CEO Sudhir Singh remains upbeat. Q2 should be equally robust and H2 robust again. Meanwhile, Sonata Software is climbing fast, and First Source Solutions, owned by Sanjeev Goenka, is knocking on the $1 billion revenue door. While the top 4, TCS, Mphasis, HCL Tech, and Wipro remain unshaken, India's IT mid-league is in full churn mode. In short, Coforge isn't just climbing, it's coming down for the crown. Unless Keir Starmer stops blocking UK recognition of Palestine, we will force a vote. That was the blunt message from Stephen Flynn, leader of the Scottish National Party, SNP in Westminster, as Britain becomes the latest flashpoint in Europe's shifting stance on Palestinian statehood. This bold move comes after French President Emmanuel Macron announced that France would formally recognize a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly this September, a decision that's rocked transatlantic diplomacy and reignited debate across Europe. Now, the SNP, though holding just 9 seats in Parliament, has vowed to introduce a Palestinian recognition bill once the UK Parliament returns from recess. If Prime Minister Starmer maintains his cautious stance, insisting statehood must come as part of a peace process, the SNP plans to force a full parliamentary vote. Pressure is building. Over 220 British MPs, including many from Labour itself, have backed calls for the UK to follow France's lead. The context? A deepening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, mounting international frustration, and the urgency to act. Meanwhile, Germany and Italy have declined to support Macron's UN push, citing the absence of a negotiated settlement. But critics warn, waiting for peace may mean waiting forever. As of now, 142 nations officially recognize the state of Palestine. The UK, despite its historic ties to the region, is not among them. Come September, all eyes will be on Westminster. Will Britain step forward or stall again? That's all for today. Thank you for joining in. We are eagerly looking forward to our next Top of the Morning episode, which will be packed with the latest news. Until then, this is Nelson John signing off. Have a great day.